How's it going, guys? Today is February 18th. It is Thursday. We're going to be going over QS, ONTX, ZNGA, CTRM, SAVE, and CCIV. This is Patrick, and you're trading with Prime. First thing I want to look at is QS. We've been following this one for quite a while. On the pullback down here, we went long with options and shares. The alerts are posted in the Discord. And by the way, if you guys are not a part of the Discord, feel free to check it out. The link is underneath the video in the description. And we do have a free side to the Discord. We'll try to post more alerts on that side of things as well. But we do have great members who love to post their alerts, so feel free to check it out. First thing we're going to look at QS. We see this curling action, this curling behavior. We have since then on this run up have gotten rid of or closed all of the call options. We are now, today was the last day of holding shares. And we'll see what the remainder of shares can bring. I'm targeting $80 as a price target. I don't know necessarily if I would be a buyer in this area, but as far as holding the shares, I think it's okay to start to slowly scale out of the position as we come up this run up. We are not going to begin targeting these prices way up here. We want to see what price action does. I'd like to see a little bit of consolidation before we add or anything of that nature. But as far as a price target and getting there, I think we've kind of gotten to that point where we're beginning to enter a gap. We're going to start having a little bit more resistance in that area. Next one I'm going to look at is ONTX. ONTX, beautiful run up. You know, this one can definitely continue on higher. I'm going to put it on a weekly time frame, and you can kind of see the price action over the last however long since the beginning of this chart, probably from public offerings. And so what I'm going to do is to try to narrow in on this price range. Let's see if we can do it here. I don't know if it'll work. It'll start to do it. There we go. Okay, so what we're looking at as far as price targets to the upside, if I was in this trade, I would continue holding this thing. It's been a beast. You can probably expect some sort of resistance coming up into these price areas. One that I have on the screen is $2.39, and I'm not particularly putting that as a price target for myself. I know nothing of this company. I've gotten these charts from people, from members and people who have sent them to me asking for analysis. So what I would say with this one is if you are in the trade, you could begin averaging out or just keep raising your stop loss up to higher increments. This is, of course, is the weekly time frame. I would not expect price to just blow on through $2.71. And I would expect a little bit of resistance around $2.39. But then again, this chart on a daily time frame can pull all the way back down here closer to $1 and still be bullish on a, let's go to the daily. It can pull all the way back to $1.30, even all the way back down here to this last pivot at $1.11 and still be bullish on a daily chart. So something to be mindful of. Let's go down to the hourly time frame. On the hourly, it's a little bit, you know, you can kind of see this squeeze, this momentum, this run up, and there is no really telling when it's going to stop. If it were me and I was in this trade, I would bring my stop loss all the way up to $1.48, maybe even the gap fill around $1.40 if you're already in the trade. Other than that, maybe just let it continue running. ZNGA, we're coming into some resistance right here. It's interesting, or will be interesting, to see if we can close the week above $12.02. That's from a previous pivot, which you don't see on the screen right now, but it's a previous pivot on a weekly time frame. So it'll be interesting to see if we can close the week above this $2.02. I would also expect a little bit of resistance coming into $13.10. So keep that in mind. Again, another one that's, while it's on the run up, we can keep raising our stop loss up to the pivot marks. And here are the pivots that I'm talking about. This one, instead of doing the day's pivot, you could bring it down to this gap down here. Would probably be okay. I would just put it up to this pivot down here. And again, just let it run. Keep raising your stop loss until you are stopped out of the trade, or begin averaging out of your position if you would like. CTRM. This one's a little bit different. It's showing us that a high of around $2 resistance, and then it's pulled back off of that high, closing in on down to about $1.06. And from the high down to the low, let me put it on the measurement. It's about 30% probably. Let's see here. So we're coming into 40% right now. Let's see what happens if we get down closer to $1. Again, 45%. And so that's kind of something I would be mindful of as far as wanting to get into this trade too soon if you're not already in the trade. This is the daily chart and it can stay bullish on the daily time frame. There's nothing wrong with that aspect of it. If I zoom in here on the hourly chart, you can kind of see here that we did have a run up and then we're just pulling back. This kind of pullback behavior to me more looks like this behavior here right here looks like just a little bit of profit taking. It doesn't necessarily look like a rejection, although that steep of a price, it might feel like that based on just the percentage aspect, but it could also just be a pullback and then maybe wait for a breakout to go long. So maybe if you see a price getting above today's high or maybe even around this $1.25 area. So we'll take a look at that tomorrow, see how it's doing. Let's look at SAVE, S-A-V-E. SAVE, and right now I have it on the 1 hour time frame. You can see this kind of pullback from $47 all the way down to $7. That was probably the pandemic, and since then we have just been on this kind of uptrend, putting in higher highs, higher lows. It's been kind of flowing. I would expect a little bit of resistance around $35 and then a hard resistance around $39. And if I was going to be a buyer, I would wait for a pullback all the way back down to $26.15. So I want to put an alert on this chart. I want to see the price behavior and the price action. Maybe we can get a pullback somewhere down in this range, maybe even around $27.15 to be a buyer as far as the swing trade setup goes. Next one and final one, we're going to look at CCIV. CCIV, today we saw this, and this is, I believe, is on Merger News. We did see this on the weekend watch list. Somebody asked for this chart, I believe. So something to be mindful of is that in these mergers, we don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, we can speculate what's going to happen, whether the chart is going to continue running or whether it's going to sell off. This is a pretty insane run up. So I would say the same thing as we said on the first two charts, maybe just keep raising your stop loss up. We do see a little bit of evidence come in that the sellers are showing up. This is a weekly or this is a daily chart reversal candle indicating that sellers are rejecting these price figures of $64.86, giving us now a hard resistance level, and sellers definitely showed up to take some profit. But with that said, I would also say that this is a massive run, so maybe profit takers coming in. There's nothing that says the chart can't open up and run higher tomorrow. So I would say the same exact thing, as I would just raise your stop loss up to these pivots, right? Maybe in a chart like this that's almost parabolic, I would possibly raise it up to the low of the previous day's candle and just let it do its thing. Like right now, you could probably move it up again to $55. And let's go down to the hourly time frame. And this is one of those charts you kind of wish, like me, I was never in this trade, so I don't feel the FOMO, but I definitely am I'm a little bit jealous. Congratulations for those of you who are making money on this one. Just be mindful. One day we might wake up and you might see a 60%, 50%, 30% pullback like we've seen in so many other names. It's a game of musical chairs. We don't know when it's going to stop. It could stop at 100. It could be like GME and stop at 500. We don't really know. All we can do is just keep raising our stop loss up and let it run its course. I would definitely not be a short trader in this name, just because I would think that, a turn is around the corner, or a pullback could happen, does not mean I would step in front to the short side and, have some sort of risk kind of play go on in that area. So keep up the work. Feel free to join us on Sunday. This Sunday, we will not be available for live stream. Normally we will every Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so we can go over charts and the things that you guys want to look at for the week. Again, that's it. Have a good rest of your night.